The seventh week of pregnancy is one of those times that's just kind of mind-blowing. And not because of what you can see, but because of everything you can't. On the outside, you might feel pretty much the same. But on the inside, oh, there's a revolution going on. So let's just get right to the question that's probably on your mind. Are you even feeling pregnant yet? And you know what? For a lot of people, the answer is not really. And that is 100% normal. The early signs can be super subtle, or maybe they just haven't kicked in. I get it. You're probably checking the mirror every day, looking for that first little hint of a baby bump. But honestly, don't be surprised if it's nowhere to be seen. If this is your first pregnancy, you might not really start showing until you're well into your fourth month. Okay, now this is where it gets absolutely incredible, because while you're not seeing much on the outside, the inside is a whole different universe. Right this very second, a microscopic blueprint for an entire human being is being drafted at a speed that is almost impossible to imagine. You can really think of this week as a tale of two journeys, both happening at the same time in perfect sync. So let's explore this world of change for both you and your baby. All right, let's start with the star of the show, the little architect who's hard at work. We're going to dive into the amazing details of your baby's very first blueprint. Okay, now what's so wild about this is seeing how everything happens at once. Over on the left, see those pale yellow ridges along the back? Those are called somites, and they are the absolute foundation for your baby's entire muscular system. It's crazy. And at the exact same moment, these tiny little buds are popping out. Yep, those are the very first hints of arms and legs. And then there's this, the one little detail that just makes it all feel so much more real. The very first recognizable feature on their face begins to form. That simple black dot you see there, that's the beginning of an eye. A tiny window to a world that isn't even here yet. And wow, the internal construction project is just going full steam ahead. A little bud branches out, which will become the trachea and lungs. A simple tube starts to get more complex, separating into what will be the esophagus and stomach. The pancreas and bile ducts start to take shape. And the heart, even though it's still just a basic tube, is already kicking off a primitive circulation. The engine of life is being built piece by tiny piece. And get this, all of this unbelievable work is happening inside its own safe, protected bubble. The embryo is just cocooned in the amniotic sac, which is full of this protective fluid. And for now, it's getting all its food from the yolk sac. That's that little temporary lunchbox attached by a thin thread, at least until the powerhouse placenta is fully built and ready to take over the job. So, after all that incredibly complex, miraculous development, what scale are we even talking about here? Well, at the end of week 7, from the top of the head to the bottom, the total length is just 0.31 inches. That's 8 millimeters. It's just astonishing. Okay, let's switch gears and talk about your side of the story. While your baby is busy with this massive construction project, your body is adapting in some pretty huge ways. Let's talk about your body's new normal. Okay, first up, the bathroom trips. So many bathroom trips, right? Well, that's because your blood volume is increasing like crazy to support the pregnancy, so your kidneys are working overtime to filter it all. Plus, your uterus is already starting to press on your bladder. You might also feel a little dizzy sometimes, especially if you stand up too fast. And if you find yourself with a lot of extra saliva, a weird but real symptom called thialism, you can thank those surging hormones. But the big one for most people, it's the fatigue. And I don't mean just a little tired. I mean deep in your bones exhausted. Your body is building an entire life support system from scratch. It's an Olympic-level event, so feeling wiped out is totally expected. It's a sign of the incredible work you're doing. So, how do you support this incredible dual process? Well, a huge part of it comes down to what you eat. Let's look at how to properly fuel the foundation for both of you. Let's talk about energy for a second, because not all carbs are created equal. Over on the left, you've got refined carbs, like white bread. They cause a super fast spike in your blood sugar, which is always followed by a crash. Not great. But on the right, you've got unrefined carbs, like whole wheat bread. They break down slowly, giving you a nice, steady, stable release of energy. And that is exactly what you and your baby need right now. So making this one simple switch is a total win-win. It helps you manage your own weight and energy levels, and it gives your baby that constant, reliable source of fuel they need for all that nonstop development. Fish is another one of those nutritional powerhouses, but you do have to be a little picky. The goal is up to 12 ounces a week of low-mercury options. So think salmon, shrimp, pollock, candlelight tuna. These are packed with nutrients that are essential for your baby's developing nervous system. But, and this is critical, you want to completely avoid high mercury fish like shark and swordfish. And this slide right here is where it all just comes together so beautifully. On the left, a woman is doing a gentle pelvic tilt. It's a simple exercise, but it's strengthening those deep core muscles she'll need to support her growing belly. And on the right, at that exact same time, her baby is laying down the foundation of their muscular system. Your strength is literally supporting their development. How amazing is that? Of course, it's totally normal for this early stage to bring up a lot of questions, maybe even some anxiety. So let's talk through some of the common concerns with some clear, factual information. First, it's so important that we talk openly about miscarriage. It's defined as the loss of a pregnancy before the 20th week, and it is much more common than most of us realize, affecting about 15 to 20% of known pregnancies. And here's the most crucial part. The vast majority of the time, it's caused by fetal abnormalities, not by anything the mother did or didn't do. And I really want to pause and just let this sink in, because this comes directly from our source material, and it is so, so important. If you miscarry, it's important to know that it wasn't linked to anything you did, such as exercise, sex, or travel. Another serious condition to just be aware of is an ectopic pregnancy. As you can see in this diagram, that's when the embryo implants outside the uterus, usually in one of the fallopian tubes. This isn't a viable pregnancy, and it absolutely requires immediate medical attention. And what about all those little worries, those what-ifs about things you did before you even knew you were pregnant? The advice here is really simple. Don't dwell on the past. You can't change it. What you can do is focus on making healthy choices right now. If you haven't already, start taking a folic acid supplement. And unless your doctor has specifically told you otherwise, sex is perfectly safe. So as we wrap up this peek into the 7th week, it kind of leaves you with this one amazing question to think about. In this incredible period of quiet, unseen work, what feels more amazing? The tiny life that's taking shape against all odds, or the powerful, intuitive body that is making it all possible?